We're back.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, I'm Tara. And who are
And
you?
I'm Marilyn,
And we are.
the solo CEOs.
We are. We're still the solo CEOs. How y'all been?
Tara, this has been a day. I am so excited about our talk with Simone because I need a whole conversation about wellness. This has been a day. I can't even lie. I need this.
Wait, yeah. Sometimes, when you plan an event and you're like, okay, in a couple months, we're going to have this thing. It's going to be a great talk. I'm sure everyone needs this. We're actually thinking about y'all. We're not thinking about us. And then today has been the day.
Yeah.
Like, Marilyn, I'm gonna tell on you. Marilyn called me this morning and she was like, I've traveled, my calendar didn't adjust. I don't know what time, nothing is.
Nothing.
I don't know who I am. Like she said, she was like I could hear deer in headlights. And meanwhile, I was fumbling, trying to move and get around. What like, hey Jared Dean is with us. What's up, Jared? And so we needed this. God
Yes.
bless someone coming to our lives.
Yes. Hopefully I'm not the only one, but when you wake up and you trying to figure out what time it is, I hope I'm not the only one that's thrown off. But on a serious note, you all, the conversation we're having to do today is so relevant to pretty much everybody, but we want to bring it to you from a solopreneur perspective. I mean, Tara and I have been out here doing this for the longest. And one thing we know is that if you don't deal with certain things beforehand, you'll deal with them afterwards. And we know that as solopreneurs, we work through so much and we just like, we won't worry about it. I'm thirsty. I'll get water later. There's certain things about our mental health that we need to take care of and be acutely aware of that we just kind of put to the side. And our job as solopreneurs, as you all know, we are super transparent and we want to make sure that whatever is happening, not only in our world, but yours as well, we bring it to the forefront so we can deal with it before things become an issue. There's a lot of words for me considering I don't know what time it is. But I mean, it's the truth.
No, it's the truth. And for some of us who are of a seasoned age, living my gray showing, it becomes much more relevant. And I feel it. I feel my attention to my wellness and my health a lot more than I did when I was younger. I could bounce back a lot quicker. Like Marilyn has heard me complain. Me and Red Eye Flights, we don't work together. Like
But
we broke up.
And I don't understand this.
We broke no, I'm breaking up with Red Eye Flights. And I can't do what I used to do. My wellness is very, very integrated with the energy I have to do my work. And so that's why we wanted to bring you this conversation. And so I think we need to bring the conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
We should do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is my pleasure to introduce y'all to Simone Pollard. So Simone and I go back in the back. We were in school together. We were in engineering school. And so if you think that the left brain and the right brain, the body and the mind can't go together, then y'all ain't met Simone. She spent her career doing engineering consulting, but a lifelong passion for dancing. And she's been able to integrate those two pieces of herself and offer some beautiful things in her business called the Stretch Room. And so now let's bring Simone to the screen. And Marilyn, I'm gonna let y'all talk a little bit and I'll be back. So anyone, as you have questions, go ahead and put those questions into the chat. Simone will take them and we'll keep talking.
Yay. Hey, Simone.
Hey, Marilyn. Hi, everybody.
It is so great to talk to you today. We've talked before and
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't, can you hear me now? Let's see. Let's just double check. Nothing? 1 second, everybody. Let's go to technical. Krista, can you pull us down for a second?
Yeah. Simone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so you hear me, but you can't hear Marilyn. Okay.
No.
So, y'all, that's all right. We will we will do technical together.
Yes. Well, Tara, you start talking and we'll figure out what's going on with Simone, because we don't want to delay the conversation.
Absolutely. And so, Simone, I'm actually going to just start a question around like, how did she even start? Like, so you were on the straight and narrow when it come to business, and you brought the stretch room into being. How did that happen?
So the stretch room started during COVID, and the story is kind of funny because it was a serendipitous birth, if you will, that happened during COVID. We all remember, I guess now 6 years ago. So I'm based in the Philadelphia area. So New York were one of the first cities to lock down, and it was really scary because we got the notice about midweek, and by Friday the city was shutting down. And so everything, gyms, all places that people, worked, every place, every outlet, except for like emergency services. And so it was during that early part of that lockdown that I had a couple of my friends, some of our UVA people, Tara, who reached out and said, "Hey, you're always stretching. Can we send you a Zoom link and you stretch us?" And so I was like, okay. And the funny part is these are the same group of people that in my life have teased me because it delays my start to the day when we're together. But so they sent me a link, then there were inquiries from people that I didn't quite know as well. And I was like, and so the other joke was my husband was like, if you do one more free session. And then I also started thinking, I was like, well, there's a need here too, right? And I said, let me put this engineering and MBA hat on, and there's a need here. Let me see how I can meet that need, and let me see how quickly I can do that, because I also didn't know how long the lockdown was going to be. And I think many of us thought, it'd just be a couple of weeks. And so I felt like my window was really small and I wanted to capitalize on it. And so I also was like, okay, you tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, and that's not necessary. We just need, as they say in the work that I've done, we just need that MVP. Just put that MVP out, right? The most viable product, minimally viable product. And so for me, what that was I got somebody to create a flyer, an electronic flyer for me. And then I was accepting money through like the Cash App, Venmo, what have you. And in the very early part of that, the 2 weeks that I gave myself to like get up and going, I also realized that was highly inefficient because I didn't want to start my sessions being an accountant, seeing who paid and who was in the waiting room of the Zoom waiting room. And so then I started looking for software and applications, because I thought there has to be technology out here that removes the dancer, the teacher, the instructor from the registration and the payment process, especially if they're working as a solopreneur, right? And so if you're at a studio, it's different. There's a person at the desk who takes your money and signs you in. So I found that software. Then I created a landing page, started linking things to my landing page, and just stood it up. And so my actual kind of like go live day was tax day, April 15th. And then just kind of went on from there. And I started then thinking about, well, outside of individuals, who else would be able to benefit from this, right? And so I thought about the conferences that I've been to, the industry conferences. And the ones that I really, really enjoyed were always the ones that there was some intention around the variety and wholesomeness of the food. There was some intention around the networking opportunities and just doing things differently, and not just, doing the same thing. Like, okay, well, here are the donuts, and for networking, we're going to serve tea. But, maybe the networking was speed networking, or we have these small groups and they go on hikes. And so I basically used that as a pitch and started approaching conference organizers and event planners, and just kind of saying that, like, this could be a differentiating factor. I'm already set up to be virtual because that's what I've been doing. And now that your conference is virtual, you don't have to worry about me kind of like pivoting or not being fully tested in this medium. So that's how it's gotten started. And it went from, that to kind of where it is now, and just continuing to still do the corporate and the events piece, but staying true to my community, which stretches Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 p.m. on Zoom.
What inspires me about your story is so much of entrepreneurship is serendipity, right? This thing happened, and then how do I build off of it? And how do I think about it as a business, right? And so, people, anyone who's followed us knows that Marilyn and I talk about like, don't get too wedded to business plans. Like business planning is important, but when you follow the energy, it makes a difference. Okay, so that's your journey. I want to tap into your wisdom as someone who is so in touch with your body and with wellness. And so when you hear someone say prioritizing wellness while running a business, what does that mean to you in practical terms?
So in practical terms, what that means to me is you're being intentional about how you are literally scheduling your wellness and making room for it. And I say scheduling because we schedule everything else. And so I put pre-COVID, before I had the stretch room and I was dancing more outside of the home. Yeah, I had my dance classes on there. I still have my dance classes on there. I perform with a few groups. I put my rehearsals on there. So like one, it just helps me organize my life. And I tend to be a pretty organized person. But it also makes sure that you're not bumping up against it or overscheduling, double booking, triple booking. And then we know the quote unquote voluntary things are what's going to slide. Because not everybody is comfortable saying, oh, well, I can't go to this meeting or fulfill that requirement because like that's my spin class, right? So most people will just like move to spin class and show up.
Okay, so now I feel like you're calling me out now. Because like I'll have it on the calendar, but then things happen and work in an urgency. So how do you avoid feeling guilty for taking that time when things are just piling up and when the exercise is not my favorite thing to do?
Well, so right. So I feel like it's the second, right? Because it's not your favorite, right? So let's a hit dog will holler. Let's talk about that.
I was like,
so right. So probably because it's not your favorite thing, you then lean into feeling guilty because if it were a priority, you probably would feel less guilty. I mean, the reality is we're not asking you, and I'm sure on your calendar, Tara, you don't have 6 hours blocked because you're not training for, the Tour de France or, some big competition. You're probably doing 30 minutes or an hour. And so this notion that, oh, I have all this stuff piling up and I just can't. Well, I'm sure you doom scroll for at least an hour. I'm sure you get up and get distracted and I don't know, start organizing the spices or something. Like there are things that you're
the whole time. The whole time.
There are things that I didn't even know this, but again, a hit dog will holler. So, we all, while we like to believe we are organized and efficient, we're not that way with all 24 hours. And so I just don't know that I could be convinced that one doesn't have 30 minutes or an hour to do something for themselves. And here's the other piece, Tara. Once you do it, you feel so much better. So you now bring in a reinvigorated self and a recharged self and a mental cognitive break to now address the work later, which probably will make it better work, richer work, more efficient in the time that you're spending. And then you also, again, feel good because you're not carrying that guilt on your back of like, oh, I did get it done, but now I have now looked at my calendar and I see that I have moved these last 5 workouts to next week.
You just said something about like feel better and perform better, right? So, and you've worked in a lot of really high performance environments. When did you start to notice the connection between how you were doing physically and how you were showing up mentally at work and just your work quality?
Yeah, so I would probably say it happened because I've been dancing all my life. I've been active. Even as a child, I played tennis, I ran track. So being active has not just been something I've been doing now. It started early and I've just carried that practice. But I guess what I would say is probably in college, I had that awakening. So, because I also like to sleep and I enjoy my sleep and people who know me know this. And I think it was in college when we were in the engineering school, as you mentioned at the top of the program. And so for Jared Dean and other people who were also coming from an engineering school kind of environment, it's very challenging, very stressful. You have work that you're like, when is it possible I will get any of this done? And so you end up not sleeping. And I think it was around that time I probably was pulling more all-nighters than I had, in high school or prior. And I started to realize that I'm not able to perform the next day. And so if I'm pulling, and so for me, my awakening was studying really late for a test and not getting proper rest, and then not being able to recall the stuff at the 99th minute, as my mom would say, right? Like, so the test is here and I have done all this studying, but I can't now I can't recall it and I'm struggling. And so after that one experience, I remember thinking to myself, I'm not doing that again. Like, I'd rather be rested and figure it out some kind of way and have, good mental capacity, good physical energy, and I don't know, just figure out these problems on this test than to believe that I have done all the studying to do well, only not to be able to perform when the test has been distributed.
Well, and imagine like that. And that was us back when we didn't have no bills and we had no real problems.
Our job was school. Our job was school.
Now we got work and all the stuff.
Yes.
So we need more, double the rest and double the wellness. Okay.
Agreed. So so that was the awakening for me. And so that's when, like I said, my takeaway from that was not doing that again. I'd rather be well rested and figure some stuff out than to have it all in my head but can't produce and then now be frustrated.
Yeah. Well, and that we talk about the stress that we carry right now. I think about you, and so it's so funny because I like my brain. I have like Simone, my engineer. You're a dancer, you're an engineer with an MBA. How do all these pieces of you shape how you think about stress and sustainability, like for the long run with career or even for life?
Yeah, I just think that I have lived experience, and so I lead on my lived experience, like how my body feels being in tune. I mean, part of being a dancer forces you to have high body awareness in terms of what hurts. Is that muscle or is that like joint? So I have high body awareness, and then so I think that's really helpful. And then the other piece too is helpful in diagnosing like when I need to slow down, do less, do more, kind of like balance effort, right? And energy. And, I also think as we mature in life, we are better able to determine where we want to put our energy. And I mean like our physical energy, but also like our emotional energy, our physiological energy, right? Like what situations I'm going to get caught up in and what situations I'm not. And that's helpful in terms of like protecting my peace. And I'm not saying I'm an expert at any of these things, but at least I can come back to that and remind myself, like, just keep scrolling, just ignore it. Don't worry about that. That's going to tick you off. That's a trigger. Like, keep on moving. And I think the other thing too is for so much of my life, people have always been surprised that I am. So like in the dance community, I don't lead with what I do professionally because that's always becomes a distraction. But for the handful of people that might know, they're always really surprised that I have this other side, because usually they're accustomed to artists being just artists, right? Like the engineer business person is so, I think, antithetical to like what people think comes in an artist. And then of course on my business and engineering side, like I have on my resume, I have in my bio that I'm a dancer, and it's always a moment of discussion, because in their mind they have a stereotype of what an engineer, what a business person looks like, and they don't put that with somebody who is a dancer, because I think we've been socialized that you're either left or right, and the reality is many of us are both. And I also tell people there is research that shows that if you're good in math, there's a correlation between being good in math and being artistic and musical.
Oh, don't tell me that. My math is on point, but I'm gonna tell you, my singing voice is not.
Well, not singing, but it doesn't mean that you're not like creative in terms of movement. I'm sure you can start on the downbeat, and you can do a step together, step touch, and drop it low, and all of those things. And so
I can slide. I can slide the electric. That's okay.
Yes, slide the electric.
I can slide the electric.
Now, boots on the ground, all of it. So yeah, it's not that. I think it's just because of how we've been socialized and then the stereotypes that we attach to certain functional areas or industries. And then I show up and they're like, oh, it like breaks all of that. And now one has to wrestle with, well, why are you surprised?
Okay. All right. So let's get into kind of wellness and how the people who are listening to us can really start to think about it. So when we say wellness, what falls under that umbrella beyond workouts in your mind?
Oh, sleep, nutrition, like efficiency, energy. And so when I say energy, like, like your literal energy, but then also like what you take on. So yeah, it's more than just working out, because I was talking to somebody like last year, another woman in the wellness space, and she was just saying that we were talking about doing a collaboration, and she's very mindful of who she collaborates with, because everybody in the wellness space is not well. And I was like, you are right about it.
Ooh, that's a word. Yes.
Yes, and it stuck with me from when she said it. And it's something I think about, especially when I meet a person who's not well or who I don't believe to be well. And it's true, right? Because for some people, it is it's a trend, a fad. It's also an obsession. And so, yeah, just because you are in the wellness space, or just because you are working out or shopping at Whole Foods. I guess it's probably similar to therapists also go to a therapist, right? So like a psychiatrist also go to a psychiatrist, right? So like, I guess it should make sense if you recognize that professionals go to professionals similarly trained for their own needs.
Okay, so I really like this idea of recognizing that half the people in the wellness industry are not well, because
I don't know about half, but I just know that.
Okay. I said 3/4. She said 99%.
Yeah, I don't know, but
but it doesn't matter what the number is. But the recognition that what we see on social media, that there's so many things that affect how we are looking or feeling guilty about what we are not doing. But recognizing that sometimes what we're seeing does not necessarily mean that there is wellness. I'm curious what are some of the signs that someone is not that I need to start paying attention to my wellness.
Oh, for an individual to start paying attention. Yeah. Like, so if you're stressed out, right, which presents itself not only in hypertension, but like loss of hair, loss of weight, or gaining, right? So just again, being in tune to like physical changes. I think people who are stressed, if they're honest, know that they know that they're harried, they know that they may not be bringing their best self. If you're not sleeping, a good 6 to 8 hours a night, and your sleep is not good quality sleep, right? So, I also read an article, this was years ago, and it was talking about how your brain, like any other important organ, needs a time to rest and flush. And it takes 4 to 6 hours for your brain to flush. And so if you're only sleeping 2 hours or 3 hours, basically you're out here running around with a non-flushed brain.
So unflushed brain, people.
Unflushed means you are probably saying a whole lot. Doesn't make good sense. And you're not your best self.
What? So when next time I see someone and I think they're full of shit, I might be like, you have an unflushed
that could brain. Be one of the reasons. Now, if they are well rested and they're still full of it, that points to some other stuff.
Something else going on.
Yeah, but it's definitely a problem. But yeah, I think that those are indicators. Sometimes people, we know that high blood pressure is the silent killer, because sometimes people don't realize they have it until they go to the doctor. But there are manifestations in your body and that's happening around you that give you indication. I think that we have to pay attention to those things.
And as you're talking, what I'm hearing is, particularly when it comes to stress, I think that when I am stressed or when other entrepreneurs are stressed, it's easy to look at, okay, I'm stressed. Let me try to fix something at the work side, but it actually may be physiological. There may be like, there's some things around the health and wellness side that if I were to address it, be it stress, be it working out with food or some of those other physical things, actually the same amount of work, your like body may feel less stressed even when you're doing these things. And sometimes I don't think people think about that as a key to even your capacity for whatever the mental load that comes with work.
Sure. And then there's the author escapes me, but it's the book Your Body Carries a Score.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right? Is it Your Body Carries something like that?
Your body keeps the score.
Keeps the
Yep.
score.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly it. So you can be out here, you can delude yourself all you want, but when you show up and you don't look well, that's it. There's no fronting on that, because it's clear, like, oh, we've all seen the person. We're like, oh, are they ill or what's happening? I'm concerned. I don't want to ask. Yeah. And we also have seen the person who you're like, they are glowing, right? Skin right. I mean, just glowing. And so this is a quick aside, but years ago I was at Essence, and Dougie Fresh walked into the hotel. And
April.
Your Body Keeps a Score. Yes, April. Mm-hmm. That's one of my B school classmates. Thank you, April.
April, my girls. You can't have all my people.
Oh, well, I know her too. April. I know her too. And he walked into the hotel, and I was like, he has to be a vegan or something, because
really,
I mean, awesome. Just had a vitality about himself, or maybe he just drank a lot of water. I don't know, but my point is, it gave me pause, because I was like, there's something there like that. He is being intentional about things. And we also know, given that industry, that there are a ton of people who don't look like that because of the pace of the industry, the lifestyle, the long nights, all of those things. And so, yeah, April said that we can share.
We can share her.
We can share her. Yes. And so I think that your body is giving you signs.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to get to something very specific, because this is something that's haunted me in my career, right? So when someone says, like, I can't get my brain to stop running, my brain won't turn off, what's happening physically, and how can movement help with something like that?
So that was actually so as you know, Tara, I'm an excitable person. I come with a lot of energy. And sometimes it's hard for me to like wind down in the evening. And so when my stretchers who stretch with me in the evening, they're always so appreciative of, and they're always so intentional about thanking me after every stretch session. And I tell them that they're thanking me, but I thank them too, because I'm doing this also for me. Like I get something from this that I need. And ever since I've been doing my regular stretching at night, I'm able to cut the noise down in my head. And when I go to sleep, sleep. There was, long stretches of time where I would be going over everything, like everything I didn't get done the day, everything I need to do tomorrow, other things we need to be doing, like household things, like all kinds of stuff. It was just happening in my head. And I couldn't stop the spinning. And so then, because I like sleep, love it actually, I'm then annoyed because I'm watching the clock advance another hour and thinking about how now my sleep is being depleted because I'm not able to bring it down and sleep. And so mindfulness practices are helpful. Hot showers at night. I also use my essential oils to help calm me. But all those things are good practices to calm your mind. And they're good mindfulness practices, whether you do some deep breathing before you go to sleep or meditate or journal. These are all things to just slow it down, because if you're hyperactive in that way, it's going to take its toll. And as the example I gave, so then I'm losing sleep because I am mulling over, all of my issues, the world's issues, your issues, and not being able to relax myself.
I had that happen back when I was consulting. I was in management consulting, working for a big company. We had this one project that I swear, but people used to cry just on the plane to go to the place. Like, it was so stressful. And it was the first time in my life that I ever experienced, I just couldn't get to sleep. And I got a guided meditation. And wait a minute, you want to know how long ago it was? I had a Walkman. I had and it was like, it was, I think it was a CD. It wasn't quite a cassette tape. It was a CD. But that was kind of my invitation into mindfulness, but also was for a long time, like, and it's kind of taught me guided meditation and visualization just to bring it down. So I 100% agree with that. And I like the idea of of stretching, because that's something that I hadn't tried, because my mind is racing. I always think about things that affect the mind as solutions. I hadn't thought about the slowness in the body and that, and how that can affect it too.
Yeah, and getting that energy out.
Getting
that releasing it, right? I mean, like, releasing that stress and getting it out. So yeah, the Calm app is wonderful. I also keep a pad of paper by my side of the bed, so that as I have an idea or something, because sometimes I am creative around that time. And so I just, instead of forcing myself to remember it and playing all these games to remember it when I wake up or getting up, I just write it on that pad, and then I deal with it in the morning. And so now I can be relaxed, because when I have a good idea that I'm trying to remember, I'm not relaxed, because I'm like, okay, you can't forget this in the morning. You can't forget this in the morning.
Yep.
I just got to get it out, right? Just get it out.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think you're convincing me. Me. All right. So as someone who shall remain nameless, who does not identify as a fitness person, where is a realistic starting point?
Just start doing something, whether it's walking up and down the steps in your home, walking around the block. Just start something, because if you're not doing anything, something is going to be better than not doing anything. And so, play little games. In our neighborhood, there's a CVS, and when the weather's really nice, I will walk there. And I mean, that's one of the other jokes with some of my friends. I will be up in a CVS multiple times a week for no reason. But in the summertime, it's I know I can walk there, walk back, and I can just get a quick walk in, right? And so I play those games with myself too. In my mind, I'm being efficient because I'm going up in there to see what's on sale that I'm right? So now I've crossed that off my list. Or I'll walk to the grocery store, and I won't be grocery shopping because I have to remember that I walked there, but I'll get the circular. So in my mind, that's helpful, because now, yes, I can go online and look at the circular. But again, the game I've made is I'm gonna get the circle, I walk back, and then I'll drive and go to the grocery store. But at least, now I've gotten the thing that allows me to help create my shopping list, whatever the game is. But we have a lot of people in our neighborhood who walk at lunchtime. We started noticing that during COVID, when so many folks were working from home. But even in the evening, just get out and walk. Or like I said, walk up and down your steps, or say, okay, I'm standing right now as we're on this live, stand for a meeting, right? When you're on a phone call and you don't have to look at a document, and you're just whatever, it's an update call or just a fun call, walk around the home, unload the dishwasher, put a load in, just get up and get moving, right? So one of the things that we have been hearing more is that sitting is the new smoking, because many of us who are in knowledge jobs, we are very sedentary. So
that's right.
If you're commuting, whether it's in your car or public transportation, you're sitting. Then when you get there, you're sitting. Then you sit to come home. Then you sit when you're at home. Right. And then we have tight hips, lower back is sore, hamstrings are short and tight.
Yeah. Well, and what I like as you're talking about is how do you fit it in? And so even, yes, you can have a half hour, an hour and call it in priorities for working out, but also just how do you fit it? In the little moments. I like that too. And so there's a question from Latoya. For those who work from home or travel often, what practical strategies help maintain boundaries between work and personal life?
So shutting that computer down at the end of whatever the day is. Latoya, we talked earlier, I'm not sure when you joined the call, but scheduling time on your calendar. to work out or to move, to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So most hotels have a gym or a fitness center. You don't even have to use that. You could just take the stairs, go down to the lobby and come back up, walk around the property. So it's being intentional about scheduling that, just like you're scheduling everything else in your life. And the boundary is being intentional and saying, okay, like this is something that's important to me. I'm prioritizing that. I will schedule around it. Maybe you don't have notifications on your phone for work. So I have put the app. I remember at my prior organization, the email, I put it 4 swipes away. So it wasn't going to be on that 4 swipes. It wasn't going to be on that home screen showing me all the unread messages, and I didn't get notifications. So I was in control of checking my email when I wasn't using my computer, and it was 4 swipes away. It was at the end. So I had to work for it. If it's on the home screen, the first home screen is all the stuff that I'm dealing with regularly, that I want to deal with regularly. And, work is work and it's important, but it doesn't need to be, it's addictive. So yeah, you just play these, I call it playing games with myself. You can use a different term, but we have to do these things to stop ourselves.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm ready to play a game. So give me a 5-minute reset that I can do during my workday if I'm setting intention around doing something.
Okay, 5 minutes. So you're going to close your eyes. One of the things I talk about is your breath is your life in the stretch room. And I remind people throughout the whole hour experience with me, like if I get booked, I do different lengths of time, but in my open community, it's an hour. So I remind people throughout the whole time, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, because when we are stressed, we are annoyed, we are triggered, it just automatically we hold our breath. And so same thing when you're moving, working out, dancing, whatever, you might be doing something that's different, or maybe you're like, oh, it's a little bit difficult for me to do that. You just instantly hold your breath. So in those 5 minutes, you're going to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth a few times. And take your time breathing in and take your time breathing out. So that alone is something that you can do, not just in the 5-minute reset that you give yourself, but your phone rings and you see that it's that person that, sets you off. If you have to speak to them, because my thing is
my phone rings like that day Marilyn Johnson, like that.
Yeah, right. So if you have to talk to Marilyn now, as opposed to leave a message and you check it, because that's an option too, then you just quickly just breathe, and you breathe while you're talking to her, right? If she's delivering difficult information, you breathe while you're talking to her, you be intentional. The other thing too is I also think it's helpful if you can do, I'm just backing away from the screen so you can see me. You can breathe in through your nose, arms come up, and then you breathe out through your mouth, arms come down. You do that a few times. Just that movement is helpful, and that's something you can do. You can stand up. If you're not able to stand up, you can do it in the chair that you're sitting in. Another thing, if you're sitting, you put your ankle on your thigh and just lean forward. Just stretch your hips, open them up a little bit, and you'll feel a release. So those are just 3 quick things that you can do. And the breathing is something that I invite you to do when you know that something is annoying you or stressing you out or getting like a bodily reaction. Just like turn into your breath. And nobody has to know that you don't have to be all obvious about it. Nobody has to know. Yeah. But you just breathe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So breathing, okay. Question about hydration, right? As it comes to whole wellness, because everybody, their mama has the hydration packages, and like they're taking like whatever's in those little things. They got 11 like massive jugs.
Yes.
Right? So does Big Water have an agenda? Like, talk to me about what's important about.
Yeah, so I always say that water, I have to play a game with drinking water myself. I mean, I always say it's not the most interesting beverage. However, it is so vital, because as a chemical engineer, I also know it's the universal solvent. And so water is powerful.
Y'all, she dropped some chemical knowledge on you. Yeah, it's the universal
solvent. And it is so important to our functioning. And so, I'm not an expert in this, but I believe one of the standards is what are you supposed to drink half of your body weight in ounces.
Yeah.
And so the people who carry those jugs, I mean, because I think there is wide knowledge and acceptance and agreement that yes, water is important and I need to be drinking it. So they're playing probably a game with themselves. That's allowing them to make sure they get their daily intake. I mean, they're the jugs that show you where you are in terms of reaching your goal. Then there are people like myself, I carry something and I just keep up with how many I've had to, how many fill ones I've consumed that day. I mean, it doesn't have to be a project though. Just drink some water. I play another game too. Like when we're out to eat and they give table water, I just make myself just drink that one and then drink another one before. I don't leave my glass full when we leave. Just drink it. Just drink it.
You are inspiring people. Jay, drink
and I see Latoya, she's drinking her water now. Here's the other thing. I'm telling you, when you see folks who just like their skin is so awesome. I mean, they probably have other things they're doing because it's also probably their diet. And, they have a good moisturizer probably too. But they're, I'm sure, drinking water and a lot of it.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring Marilyn back on the screen. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to hear her. So we're gonna have to do some interpretation, but I want to make sure we have time for our Q&A. So let's test it. Marilyn, say something.
Something? Can you hear me say anything?
It's reading lips.
Oh wow. Reading lips. Well, and I'm glad that I put extra lipstick on so Marilyn you can read my lips beautifully.
She said she put extra lipstick on and now you can really read her lips.
Okay,
but that's all good. I will do all interpretation that we need. All right. So we had a question, a very technical question. So when you first started talking about your entrepreneur journey, you said you found software that was able to get you out of the process. So Sheila wants to know, what's the software that you started using for the stretch room?
Yeah, the one that I use is called Punch Pass. So Punch Pass, I integrated. I have it linked to my website. So if you go to my website and you want to book a class, it takes you to Punch Pass. Or my regulars, I'm sure they probably bookmark or save that URL so they can just go straight to it. It allows you to brand it, and then you publish your class schedule. You can sell passes. So if you go to SimonePollard.com or Google the Stretch Room, and you enter the Stretch Room to book a class or to pay for a pass, it will take you to Punch Pass, and you can see what I'm describing in terms of my schedule. The passes that allows you. There's another one that a lot of other that I looked at. It wasn't as robust. I didn't like it as much as Punch Pass. It begins with an M. I'm going to tell you in a second, but I know that it's also another popular one. I think they've been around longer than Punch Pass, and so yoga studios, Pilates studios, dance studios, Mind Body. That's what it's called. That's another one. But yeah, and so they also have Stripe integration. So I'm not collecting money or anything. So you pay with a credit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay. So it's all that. And then it has some other functionality around like reporting and CRM stuff that you can use too, that I also either use or import into my MailChimp system.
Nice. All right. Before I'm going to put another question up, but I travel a lot, and I just finished a big launch, and so I was almost comatose for 2 days, right? And I'm curious, what do you do to recover from a particularly a heavy week or a really intense week? How do you recover from that?
Yeah, so I think getting good rest is good. The ritual of when you come in off of that trip, taking a shower, putting on fresh pajamas, getting that bed. I get excited about stuff like that. I also, food is important to me. I like to eat, and I think about food a lot. And so I also believe in treating myself. And so when I come off of a launch, or like in your case, you treat yourself to a really great meal or a dessert. And I think all of these things are wonderful in moderation. That's one thing I remember my dad used to always say. And so if you know anything about ballet and ballet schools, like anorexia is too common a thing. And I just remember growing up, I have two brothers who are also very active. And I remember my dad always telling us we can eat whatever we want as long as it's in moderation. I come from a household where my mom did a lot of homemade cooking and baking, and our house was the house where like people were always at because there was always food and, you know, a cake and stuff. But yeah, like you just consume it in moderation.
Okay.
So just because it's there doesn't mean you have to like eat it all. But yeah, I think you should treat yourself, and I think we deserve nice things.
Nice. I appreciate that. I'm gonna treat myself.
Yeah.
All right, we got. Want to make sure we get in the question from Jen. What are the early signs of burnout that solo business owners often ignore, and what should they do when they notice them?
So I think that it probably shows up in people differently. But if you find, so if you're a very organized person and you find that, wow, I'm like missing meetings or forgetting about deliverables and not like huge things, right? Because you probably know the huge things, but maybe it's, you had planned to talk to Tara for a debrief on Thursday at 3:47 Eastern. And like normally you always do that and you just forgot. Like that's probably a sign that, well, did you just forget? Or is there some cause to that? I think the other piece too, the early signs also are linked to changes in your body. Like, have you noticed that your clothes are fitting differently? Are you feeling extra fatigued? I mean, I think that those signs, like I was sharing earlier, I think the signs are there. The real question is, are you going to listen to them?
I know.
I have a question. Can you read my lips?
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to translate. Marilyn has a question.
How do you deal with boredom of routine? Because I know. Go ahead, Tara.
So I'm sorry. How do you deal with boredom of routine? All right, hold on. Pause. Marilyn's going to give us some color.
Yeah.
Well, because I know that you start out like on a peak, and then you do it, and after a while you're like, I am so bored, or I'm so tired of this. How do you deal with that? And then you're adding this into, I know, right? You're adding this into your work life.
Okay, so
Simone, you know I was going to ask a long question.
She said you knew she's going to ask a long question. So she's like, so how do you deal with the boredom of routine? Because when you first start off, you're hot and heavy, but then it starts to feel like ugh, and especially when you're trying to prioritize it in your work life. How do you do when it starts to feel a little rote?
And she's talking about the movement.
But yeah,
the movement
actually,
that
like
you're doing.
The movement, yeah, the exercises.
Yeah, you change it up. So if you happen to go to a gym or a dance studio, if you're a member of a gym or there's a dance studio, there's all kinds of classes that you can take. I'm not a big gym person, and have never really been a big gym person, but I do go to the gym solely because one of my dancer friends teaches an awesome Zumba class there. And when I met her, she was teaching at a lot of the different LA fitnesses. So that was my only way to take her class was to then join. And so I happened to do that. But I know from going to gyms that there's a schedule and there are all kinds of classes. And if you're in a metropolitan area, the gyms usually open at like 5 o'clock, 4:45, and then they stay open till like 10. So you can go if your thing is early. There's also lots of free stuff on YouTube of varying quality. So you have to determine that. You can come see me in the stretch room. I have some recorded sessions too. So I just think you mix it up. And as I was sharing before, Marilyn, like I play little games with myself. You stand up for a meeting. You like be, like, oh, I'm going to be talking to Tara and Marilyn. Let me grab my phone and walk up and down the steps and see how many up and downs I can do while we're on the phone. Like you also have to be creative in your approach to moving. But there are things that allow you to pick from a menu, whether it's a gym or a dance studio, or you and your creative self can be like, yeah, you know what? I have 10 minutes before this next call. I'm gonna like go outside and go up to the end of the block and come back.
And Marilyn is definitely a walker. She's been like, she does a lot of walking. So Marilyn, I think that you should like skip next time, add some variety.
Yeah, or walk a different route, which is why I do my little errands to the store, because like that's interesting. Like I've made it a thing as opposed to just like walking around a track. Like that's not very interesting to me, but maybe somebody that works for somebody else because they can count their laps. But maybe you're saying, okay, the CVS is 0.3 miles, so maybe instead, or whatever, 0.5. So, but the grocery store is 1 mile away, so I'm gonna do that today. And then I just think you have to be creative in how you're approaching it, and not again succumb to I'm bored, and so then that's your opt out, or I don't have time, so now that's your opt out.
Simone, have you tried to integrate something like wellness related, and could be fitness or some or nutrition or whatever it is, that didn't ultimately work, like fit for you? Because I think a lot, it sounds, because you've been a dancer your whole entire life, it sounds like, oh, this all works and it fits and it's great. But it might be helpful for some people to think about how it works. Ooh, April walks and sings.
Yeah,
oh, that's so nice.
It calms the nervous system. Or listen to nature, right? The other thing too is you can catch up on your podcast or your on-demand stuff too. So it's efficient that way. So what I would say, Karen, I'm glad you asked that, because I'm not perfect by any means, and I also have my challenges, and these are things that I put in place. Like I said, I create boundaries for myself. That's why that email is 4 swipes away, right? Because I know it wasn't working on the home screen. I also know that gyms don't work for me because I like to have fun, and I like to have, to me, dance is fun. When I played tennis, it was fun. When I ran track, it was fun. I was a sprinter. I'm not a long distance person. Like those things are fun. And so to going to the gym, there's a really popular spin class that people like break their neck to get into, but they all, when I would walk by, I would be looking like, come get me. Like just this look of exasperation, like come get me. So when people are like, oh, you should take spin, I'm like, no, thank you. That doesn't look fun to me. Like, so that don't look fun. Everybody in it looks like they want me to come get them. So I am the one who's supposed to be rescuing people. Who's going to rescue?
Who's going to help me?
If I'm in there. Right. So like there are things about a gym that I don't like. As I shared, the reason I joined is because of that one Zumba class. But if I take another class just to explore, I don't like it, I don't do it. I find something else, because there's enough variety out there for that to work. And I also don't really believe in fads. People do all these kind of interesting diet things that I think are, again, I'm not a nutritionist, but I do have a little sense. And I'm just like, I don't see how just only eating protein is the answer. And is that sustainable? That doesn't seem sustainable to me. So like, it's about making life changes, not just doing something. Because of course, if you're on, a no carb diet, you're probably gonna lose some weight. But like, are you gonna be on it for forever? Is it sustainable to like never eat carbs? Like
that part. No, carbs are delicious. How dare you?
Yeah, so the real thing, again, is like it's in moderation. So we have to like develop the willpower and play games with ourselves, is my term.
Well, and Latoya is like she's gotten the ultimate game. She started working on live stream on social media, and it's helped her be consistent because she got people looking for her
every day.
Yeah, there's a woman that I follow on Threads, and I love her. And I found out we have the same birthday. She's like 82 or 83, and she jump ropes every day. And she says she holds like 12 Guinness Book World Records.
Oh,
but she
at
82? At 82 or 83, I can't remember what she just turned. She either turned 82 or turned 83 in November. And I told her, I was like, you're my role model. And then I noticed that she posted today was my birthday on November 23rd, which is my birthday. Like, Miss Judy, you really are my people. We have the same birthday. But yeah, she gets on every day and she jumps. And her whole thing is like, move. She jumps rope. That's her thing.
Okay.
She likes to do.
So I feel like there can't be a better way to end this than honoring Miss Judy at 83 on the jump rope.
I need to let her know. I'm shouting her out.
I'm shout her out when there's some days when this 53-year-old struggles to get out of bed. So all of us solopreneurs, we need to be more like Miss Judy and more like Miss Simone, and honor our wellness. Simone, thank you. Thank you for the nuggets. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the inspiration. we're going to get on this. And for those of you who don't know, hopefully you're on our mailing list. Simone has offered a discount for anyone that wants to join her stretch room. And she got a retreat coming up. And so we will send out information on the retreat as well, so you can get a little bit more of what Simone has to offer. Simone, thank you.
Thank you.
You feel inspired? You feel ready?
I feel very inspired. That was a really good conversation. And I appreciate a lot of the nuggets that she dropped as far as what you can do to incorporate being mindful about wellness in your everyday life.
Yeah. And, she definitely called me all the way out, because there's so many times like, oh, I'm too busy. But what I really loved is all the little ways that I could kind of start integrating and putting things in to take some of the guilt off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And to make it real. Because
you know what I think, Tara, is when you say you miss a date on doing something, then you're like, then you beat yourself up. But what you can do, just go back to it the next day or even later. That's the beauty of creating your own world. You create your schedule. And sometimes maybe you can't do certain things at the same time every day. But whatever little game, like Simone talked about, whatever game that you have to play to get yourself in that space, then do it. I like CVS because I love those long receipts. So I like to look at But Jared, thank you for joining us. April, and I hadn't met April, but thank you for joining us too. As well as everybody else.
Sheila and everybody else. Yes. So, okay, so this is what Marilyn and I want from you. So number one, the whole idea of the solo CEOs and my work, my way is building a work life that actually fits well into your life. And wellness is a piece of that. Like, you cannot burn yourself out. If you were going to burn yourself out and be all crazy, work for somebody else and get their benefits. But there's no way that you should build a business that does not allow you to be sustainable. And your health and wellness is a big piece of that. And so if you can't find time and you're struggling to find that time, then you as the boss needs to make the time. Otherwise, ultimately, you're not building something that is truly sustainable for the long term. Now, the second thing we want you to do is we're going to need you to go ahead, like, share, follow, do all those good things. This community, like, did you hear what we just did? How hot Simone Pollard is? Like, we bring you people that really that are our people who understand what we go through. And so make sure you're not missing any parts of those things. And Marilyn, I hear we have a podcast.
Oh my goodness, yes, we do.
I feel like we have a podcast.
And we have so much fun on it. You guys have to join us. All kinds of conversations. But you know what, Tara, about the podcast that we have to let people know is there's a distinct difference between our Guru Talks and our podcasts. In our Guru Talks, we bring experts in different areas that we know affect solopreneurs. On our podcast, we talk about things that are happening to us real time, and we invite other people. Some are not solopreneurs, but they're talking about those things that impact their days that we know is important as well. But if you want to just join in on our club, get a little background, get a little insight on what's happening with Marilyn, Tara, and even you, because sometimes people ask us questions, we bring it to the podcast and we talk about all the things professional and some things not professional.
All right. Fun. That's all your homework.
Lots of homework.
Work out, subscribe, get on our list, listen to the podcast, live a good life, my friends.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time.